Anime final forms can make for truly epic moments. Sometimes, though, they don't come out as well as they could. Here are the craziest anime final forms. Back in the day, Frieza had all the best final forms. That long battle where Goku, Krillin, Vegeta, and the gang made their way through all of his forms is the stuff of anime legends. Then everything changed for the fiercest warlord in the galaxy when Goku finally beat him. After that, he tried to make a big comeback with his father, an army, and a cool new cyborg body. All that hype proved to be worthless though, as another Saiyan shamed him in front of everyone. So, with two massive defeats under him, the pressure was on for his big Dragon Ball Super resurrection. Only things once again didn't go as planned. His shiny new golden Frieza form was enough to overwhelm any Super Saiyan, but Vegeta and Goku had moved on to Super Saiyan Blue. Frieza once again found himself unable to compete. It's unlikely he'll ever get a final form as terrifying as his old ones, but as long as he's still an evil genius, he'll be just fine. Some might think that Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny might be the biggest mascots of all time, but they aren't even close. Pikachu has made the Pokemon franchise the very best like no one ever was. So, if Pikachu is the most famous Pokemon and the most popular franchise of all time, then surely he would have the best final form, right? Nope! If you give the adorable Pikachu a Thunderstone, he turns into the fierce Raichu, who is, not so adorable. In the Pikachu family, Raichu is the awkward black sheep that Pichu and Pikachu never talk about. If Pikachu is voiced by Ryan Reynolds, then Raichu is Tommy Wiseau from The Room. Raichu may be more powerful than Pikachu, but he's not selling stuffed animals by the millions. Heck, even Ash refused to let Pikachu evolve. He's been running around with a weaker main Pokemon on purpose for like 20 years now just because Raichu is so unfortunate. Still, if you go for Pokemon that are more than just adorable mascot material, Raichu is the stronger pick. The Dragon Ball Z movies are a bit of a mixed bag. Still, we managed to get a Super Saiyan so legendary that he did the impossible. He became canon. It's not all good for Broly, the best of the DBZ film baddies. In his final film appearance before Dragon Ball Super, Broly was brought back to life by an evil scientist. The experiment goes wrong, and Broly becomes Bio Broly, a gooey, mindless monster. What's sad is that this is technically his final form in the Broly trilogy of films. He didn't even get an epic showdown in his own big ending. His final defeat comes at the hands of B players Goten, Kid Trunks, and Krillin. At least this horrible incident was erased when Broly was canonized in the latest movie. They kept the best parts about the character for Super, so hopefully they leave his goo monster form in the past. In the first Naruto series, it really seemed like Orochimaru was going to be the antagonist of the whole franchise. He seemed sort of like the Voldemort to Naruto's Harry Potter. Pale snake guys really hate schools that teach kids magic powers for some reason. When Orochimaru revealed his true form in Naruto Shippuden, it wasn't quite as epic as we thought it might be. His white snake form was quickly defeated by Sasuke, which was pretty rude, by the way. Orochimaru trained him for years and gave him fancy demon powers. Then he thanks him by destroying him? All Orochimaru wanted to do was take over his body and possibly destroy Konoha with it. Man, some people have no respect for their elders. Orochimaru never really bounced back as a proper villain after that. Okay, before I get started on this one, it's important to say that Akira is awesome. This film is largely responsible for starting the mainstream Western world's anime obsession. It also is a stunning example of the cyberpunk genre that stands alongside greats like Blade Runner and Altered Carbon. If you haven't seen it, go look it up as soon as possible. That being said, Tetsuo's final form in the film is just crazy. He basically loses all control of his powers and becomes this massive blob of skin and muscle tissue. In the manga, it's a stunning and unsettling sight. In the anime, it can, at times, come across a little silly. Taika Waititi is still planning on doing an Akira live-action film, but it keeps getting delayed. I bet I know what the problem is. They know how they want to do the cool motorcycle chases, but the Tetsuo blob scene is holding them up. Of the original starting Digimon from the first anime, Gabumon might have the coolest Digivolutions. Sorry Agumon, but Garurumon and WereGarurumon are just awesome. I mean, WereGarurumon has brass knuckles and ripped jeans with a skull on it. He's the ultimate Digimon bad boy. Then he digivolved into his Mega form and Agumon finally got the lead. Metal Garurumon initially looks less like a tough guy and more like an adorable Christmas mascot. Of course, Metal Garurumon gets a lot tougher looking when it's revealed that he is strapped with hundreds of missiles. Digimon looks a lot less adorable when he basically shoots the Jericho missiles from Iron Man at you. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the most loved anime of all time, and for good reason. It's got stellar action, unbeatable world building, and a story that will just tear you up inside. In the series, the Elric brothers go up against evil creatures known as homunculi. Some of these beings may look human at first, but they have hideous true forms that reveal the evil inside. The homunculus with the creepiest true form is undoubtedly Envy. Envy's real form is a giant monster made up of arms and faces of the souls that were destroyed to make it. It's a truly disturbing image that really drives home how creepy these creatures are. The problem is that unlike the manga, Envy is animated using computer-generated graphics. This makes its form look weirdly out of place and almost a little silly. Still, Brotherhood is up there among the best anime of all time. Also, it couldn't possibly look worse than the Netflix movie did. Netflix should stick to TV shows about tiger enthusiasts and leave anime alone. Although, if they made an anime about Joe Exotic from Tiger King, ooh, I'd definitely watch that. Sailor Moon is the ultimate guilty pleasure anime. Well, the ultimate guilty pleasure anime that you can talk about without breaking YouTube age restrictions. A lot of people started watching Sailor Moon for obvious reasons, but ended up staying for the story. Watching the Sailor Scouts battle the forces of evil makes for more fun and drama than you might think. So what could possibly ruin such a good time? Enter Sailor Mini-Moon, one of the most hated anime characters ever. She's basically the Scrappy-Doo of Sailor Moon. Chibiusa, or Rini, depending on which version you watch, isn't more impressive when she becomes a Sailor Scout either. No costume change montages could fix this. Persona 5 stands side by side with games like Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2 as the greatest of this generation of gaming. The anime, based on the popular JRPG, is an incredibly faithful and entertaining take on the game, for better and for worse. While there is very little that you can complain about with Persona 5, the first boss is pretty out there. The inappropriate Kamoshida's shadow self is a creepy king who really needs to find some pants. He is the lord of his own castle of subjugated volleyball students. If that wasn't bad enough, his ultimate form turns all that creepiness up to 11. He becomes a giant pan-style monster with no clothes, a long tongue, and 4 arms. It's some serious nightmare fuel, and it's also a pretty silly first boss for both the game and the series. It's actually a pretty good strategy as far as the rest of Persona 5 is concerned though. Once you start with an evil gym teacher king monster with no pants, nothing else seems weird to you anymore. Suddenly, a story about teenagers who become mystical thieves that steal people's hearts isn't such a strange concept. You know, you guys really didn't have to be quite so faithful to the game with this one. Oh, in the early days of Dragon Ball, Yamcha was the coolest guy in the franchise. He was Goku's Han Solo, his roguish rival. In those days, his Wolf Fang Fist was the coolest move in the show. That was before we knew what a Kamehameha Wave or a Super Saiyan was. As the series progressed, Yamcha got pushed more and more to the sidelines. He was still a major player throughout the first anime and the first half of Dragon Ball Z. After the show went interstellar and Goku figured out how to turn his hair blonde, Yamcha became a background character. This was solidified in Dragon Ball Super when his biggest role was when he played baseball against all of the other characters. After all these years, Yamcha has ended up as a baseball player instead of a proper warrior. It is telling that in the Dragon Ball universe, being a professional athlete is kind of a joke. If he was on Cross Game, he'd be the king. Hopefully one day the series figures out a way to bring Yamcha back into the thick of the action like he deserves. That is worth wishing for the next time they gather those Dragon Balls. Well, there you have it. Some of the craziest anime final forms ever. Which was your favorite? Are there any Bio Broly fans out there? And if so, please tell us why. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to CBR for more anime action. Thanks for watching.